Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Path of knowledge, Gnana Yoga. The path of knowledge, Gnana Yoga, is designed for the intellectual group of people. Now, intellectual means a person who inquires into knowledge. What is knowledge? That's what he inquires into. And what is the knowledge that he is interested in? He is interested in the fundamental question, where he is confused, where he is not clear. There is no clear answer he has. He is not aware. He doesn't understand all that, with reference to 3 questions. Anyone who has uncertainty about these 3 things, he is, and the process of seeking answer to those questions is called a path of knowledge. It's as simple as that. He has 3 fundamental questions, and he is not clear about the answers to those questions, and he can't dismiss those questions and continue his life. He pursues the path of Gnana. What are those questions? He has a fundamental question about who he is. Who am I? I have the doubt. And he is not clear about it. Also, he is not clear about what is this world, from where this world came, where it is going to end, if at all it is going to end. He is not clear about the answer. Right. Third one he asks is, what is God? Who is God? He has no clear answers for that also. No answer with reference to who am I. No answer about the world, origin of the world. Also, he doesn't have the answer, clear answer to who's God. And these 3 questions we don't have, because we have a clear-cut answer for all the 3. No, well, don't you know? Did you study Big Bang Theory? Problem solved as far as we are concerned. Second one, who am I? What is you? Maybe you don't know who you are, but I am very clear about who I am. I am such a person. I am, my birth date is this. My death date. I'm sorry, death date is all about it. This is my birth date. This is my anniversary. That is all. Very close. Near death experience. We say the anniversary. And this is where I studied. This is what I am. Do we have the doubt? Actually speaking, right? See, You can keep asking this question, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? You can keep repeating that. But do you have a doubt who you are? No. Do you have a doubt who is God? You'll say what? இது தெரியாதா? Don't you know this? This is God. What is your problem? You know? So we have no doubts about the three. He says, the one who has the doubt about these three, and he is not able to dismiss those questions, queries, and continue his life. See, we also get that doubt. Every Tuesday evening, Thursday evening, we get the doubt. That's all. After that, is there a doubt? That's all. For some of them, we'll get it on Sunday morning. That's all. Other times, there's no doubt. Sir, actually, you are the one who is planting doubt, one fellow said. He said, before class, I was very clear about the things. After the class, only doubt came to me. Like that, we don't have doubt about these things. There is no problem we have with these things. Even if you get it, for most of us, it is easy to dismiss these questions and continue our life. What is God? Okay, let us solve the first problem. Current problem is what? Corona is a current problem. The fellow who sneezed in the next house, you are in trouble now. What happened to him? What happened to him? Let us resolve that problem first. Let us resolve these things. Water is coming in a different color. You see, there is muck mixed up in the water. So what to do? Resolve that first. So let us resolve these things and then come to that. He says, the one who has these questions and he sets forth to find answers to that. In that process, he goes through a system. To clear that doubt, he goes to the study of the scriptures. So without these doubts, if you study the scriptures, or without these three fundamental questions, you study the scriptures, meaning you can study the scriptures with other questions also. Can Bhagavad Gita help me to solve my problems? Leadership qualities in Bhagavad Gita. A person can study Bhagavad Gita to develop leadership qualities. You can study Bhagavad Gita from social. Person can study Bhagavad Gita from ethics, morality. A person can study Bhagavad Gita from management, because a lot of them, recommend that. For management also you have to, for management students you have to teach Bhagavad Gita. They also study Bhagavad Gita. But that study doesn't become the pursuit practice of Gnana Yoga. He is not a practitioner of Gnana Yoga. Just because you are studying the scriptures. The study of the scriptures should be backed by this quest, that thirst, that bugging question on these three. With that three, when you study, it becomes. Otherwise, what is it, sir? It is just mere erudition, scholarship. That's about it. Without these questions you study, you can become a scholar and tell others also. This is what Bhagavad Gita is, then this is what it is, this is what that textbook is. You can go on studying various textbooks. Some of them get irritated also with us. Why you are not teaching, this textbook, that textbook? Why don't you teach this? Why don't you teach that? All that is what? Essential questions are not there. That is only for what? More and more information gathering. collecting more and more information. What is it there? What is here? What is said there? You know, various systems and various textbooks is more of erudition and scholarship. That doesn't make you a person of the practitioner of Gnana Yoga. So practice of Gnana Yoga means you must have these three questions in you. Without these three questions, is not. That's where he gives a formula, taking the first question as a lead. Other two questions he's not taking. He's just giving a lead here. Maybe wondering why other two questions are not taken up, why he is not elaborating this Gnana Yoga. Gnana Yoga is the shortest one. This. Why? Is because the entire book is Gnana Yoga. Okay. Since that entire book is Gnana Yoga, there's no necessity for him to go about repeating the same thing. You read the book, you are practicing Gnana Yoga. That's all. So that's why this portion is very small. You know, just two and a half pages, it's over. You know, other things are elaborated with more paragraphs and more explanations are there. Here it is very cryptic. One of the things he takes is, take this question of who am I? What is this I? Take it up. And that same formula, same methodology can be adopted for other things also. Then he comes to saying that you need a material for you to inquire because you have this ignorance. So since this ignorance is there, for you to think, you have to reflect, you have to contemplate, you have to do all that. Means for you to think, you need material. The material provided is the scriptures. Through the study of the scriptures, then he goes to say as to how you should study the scriptures. So far we have seen this much. How you have to go about studying the scriptures, what is the implications of scriptural study, and then what would be the effect of the study. Who is the practitioner of Gnana Yoga? That's what he is explaining now from page number 219 in my book. Okay. In actual practice, you must make sure that you study the scripture daily. You derive the best result if you do so in the Sattvic time between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. Reflect upon what you study. Contemplate on the truths therein. Apply them in your life. Be consistent in your effort. The results of your endeavor show up gradually. You need to exercise a great deal of patience and perseverance before you become established in the eternal being that you are. Most people lack this discipline of studying the scripture or listening to spiritual discourses. They seek instant ways and means to self-realization. And they believe that by directly plunging into meditation, they could attain enlightenment. Such people are far removed from divinity. Their intellect is obscured by a cloud of ignorance and the mind infested with desires. Whereas the pursuit of knowledge frees your mind of its desires, clears the cloud of ignorance. Your intellect begins to distinguish the eternal from the ephemeral, and you perceive the play of divinity in all walks of life. There's far more power in your disciplined way of living than in most men in their assumed state of meditation. Now, there are two things he gives here. One, how you have to pursue, and what mistake we make in the process of gaining knowledge. The first thing he gives is how you should go about it. Scriptures. So you have the doubt. What he is saying is this: you have the doubts, and you can't do away with those doubts. You need to find answers to it. Now, where you can find answers to these questions is only in the scriptures. Now, you can't say, I'm going to study psychology. Can I study quantum mechanics and find answers to who is God? You will not get answers there. You see, you have to get answers only here. There is no other method. Only scriptural study alone can give you. But that scriptural study also has to be done in a particular manner. Now you can't say, I'll do it in any way, I will gain that knowledge. No, no, no. There has to be that proper system. The proper system is this. What you have to do is you have to study them every day. Study the scriptures daily. When you have to study early hours of the morning, 4 to 6. Between 4 to 6, you have to study. Then what you have to do, you got to reflect on that. Question on those things. You have to think over that material, going over that content again and again. Remember, going over the same thing again and again is called reflection. It is not going through different things is reflection, please. That is different. That is listening, reading, right? Either you listen or you read. Between the two, I personally prefer listening. This is my personal preference. Listening gives a better this one. Listening also not in not in Zoom, not in YouTube. You see, now we are doing it. Why? Because otherwise I have no other entertainment. At least you people have work to do. I have nothing else to do, right? So I do these classes only as a what else to do, I don't know. Therefore, we keep doing it. That's all. Otherwise, after Corona gets over, if I send a message to you, you will not even receive my number. By then, you would have deleted my number. You won't even remember who is Ishwara. Just to keep you remembering my face. Keep repeating these classes. This is not actually way of doing it. Strict method is you have to go sit under the feet of the master live. As a compromise, we'll say reading. As a compromise, you can say listening. Zoom class also okay. And you can listen in YouTube also. It doesn't matter. Once technology was not there. Why Buddha did not go? Why he has to go physically? Because there's no technology. Buddha was not having the technology. Now, if Buddha were to be having flight, there is no aircrafts available during Buddha's period. Therefore, he was going by foot and bullock cart. Shankara and Buddha and all had to walk on bullock cart. They are going. If flights were to be available, I'm sure Shankara would have taken that because it's easy to reach. Don't waste time. Because as it is, his ministry is a very short ministry he had. So in 32 years he has to complete everything. So he wouldn't be wasting his time. But that wasn't available during his period. Therefore, he was going by walk. So it's nothing wrong in using, the development, please. As and when the things are available, use it, make it better. But then you can't lose in the name of this. You see, so it has certain advantages. Why we recommend that is, in YouTube, one of the main problem is you can pause, go back, play again. That option is there, isn't it? In this lectures, the advantage we have is this. We call it as advantage, but in the spiritual one, for that training, this is a disadvantage. Because the moment you can stop, pause, rewind, play again, your mind will tell you, I no longer need to be focused. Even if I miss it, I will not actually miss it. In live lectures, the problem is you cannot. That's what the difference between, we say, theater and cinema. You go to a cinema and you go to a drama. In drama, the difference is what? That's why they say the artists were rated superior, classics. Those who can, do stage dramas. They're considered superior to movies. Why? You can't afford to miss it. You missed it means you can't play back. But in the YouTube, there's no problem. Even if you miss it, now you have to go out and come back. Let's say you can put the person and pause, go, come back, right? So almost the teacher becomes a puppet in your hand, sort of. I'm not saying literally, okay? Sort of. You can afford to relax and listen. In live, you can't afford to relax because you can't ask the teacher to repeat. Even if you ask him to repeat, he will not say the same thing. He will say something new. You see, you cannot get it. Automatically, mind gets more attentive. The fundamental problem we face in this listening is mind is not attentive today. Right now, the mind is not attentive. To receive that knowledge, your mind should be focused and be attentive. To prepare your mind to become attentive and be focused is what bhakti and karma is for. Bhakti yoga and karma yoga are not directly going to give you moksha, liberation. You see, that ignorance is the fundamental problem, no? You see, if you understand ignorance to be the fundamental problem, then we'll understand what is the solution. That's what Atma Bodha Shankara says. Akasya Vahni Vajnanam Vina Moksho Na Siddhe. There's no other way, man. The only way is what? If you have to cook food, fire is the only way. There is no other way. If you want to remove darkness, the only method is what? Switch on the fan. Can you switch on a fan and say, I'm going to remove darkness? Not possible. Can you do this? Can you do that? You can do. You can bring a broom and do. And you can bring a stick and whack the thing and chase it away. There are very many methods. And one of the things is what? Switch on the light is also not. No, it's not one of the methods. That's the only method. Similarly, knowledge is the only method. The process of gaining knowledge starts from listening. Right? Shravana. Atmare drashtavya, shrotavya, antavya, vididhyasitavya. Very emphatic statement of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. You want to gain that knowledge, there is only one way. Because answer is only one answer. The questions may be three. What is the origin of the world? What is your real nature? Self. What is origin of the world? Self. What is God? Self. You can ask any question. Answer is only one here. One answer for all three questions. Sometimes we get confused. All three different questions you are asking. Who am I? Answer, self. Brahman. Atman. Okay, then what is the origin of the world? Brahman. What is God? Brahman. Hey, everything is Brahman. It's cheating. Or else we will say what? Hey, if you don't know answer, you keep quiet. Don't keep on saying same answer to all the questions. There's only one answer. But the problem is to gain that knowledge, your mind should be attentive. Today, the attention span has gone for a toss. Human beings' attention span has gone completely. You can see that, observe. You don't need to go anywhere. Observe the television, movies you observe, songs, 70s songs you see, And today's songs you see, seen, they'll keep on camera and they keep showing. That's it, nothing else. Now, dance also has to be for how many seconds? Check it out. Any dance movement will not be more than 3 to 4 seconds. Look into all this albums they produce, no? See those all albums, right? At least for this you should see. One shot is not more than 4 seconds. I'm talking about long shot. Long shot is 4 seconds. Otherwise, it is only 2 seconds. Every 2 seconds, it has to keep changing. Why? You can't focus. You can't stay there for a longer period of time. Attention span is dropping. How to keep that mind and focus? You can't give knowledge for that. To bring that thing is where the other two disciplines were given, Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Right? Strictly speaking, Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga qualifies you to come to Gnana Yoga. Qualifies for you to study. Qualifies you to listen and then reflect. Going over the same thing again and again and again till you get established in it. And then go through that process of contemplation. Fine-tune that again. Going over the whole material again and again is reflection. Further fine-tuned one to go through a particular aspect is called Nididhyasana, which is loosely translated as meditation. Right? Which is a very simpler way for this, but it is actually contemplation. You contemplate over and over and again. There you gain that knowledge. So the process is what? Study, reflect, contemplate. Now he gives these two first. He says first thing you need to do is what? Be consistent with reference to your thing. But the problem is what? In the process of Gnana Yoga, the results will come up very slow. You will not get instant result. Faster results you will not get. You will get it very slow. I think all of you will agree with that. At least this group who is attending the classes. Because some of them tell me, I'm attending your class for the last 15 years. No difference, same thing. No difference. And whereas the person goes for one camp, they go for 15 days camp. And when that person comes back after that 10 days, 15 days camp, the way they talk about what they have experienced in that 15 days, you are nowhere near that for the last 15 years. 15 years of effort, right? Week after week, and we keep pushing you to study. And I know a lot of you study, if not every day, at least 4 or 5 days a week. Somehow or the other, you are in touch with the subject. You keep studying, keep listening, keep reading, and nothing has happened to you. Whereas this person comes and starts presenting so many things. This happened to me, that happened to me. Almost, he thinks some of them even refer that, saying that I was in that state of liberation for 45 minutes. 45 minutes of nirvana experienced. Now you are studying for 15 years. Not even 1 minute you get that experience of nirvana, but this fellow says, I have already attained 45 minutes of nirvana. Then what I have to do? Just have to increase it over a period of time. That's all. Little by little I will increase. But 15 years, what did you do? In 15 days, I got 45 minutes. In 15 years, you didn't even get 1 minute. Therefore, which is a better path? Which is a better one? That's why he cautions by saying, look here, this process will be gradual. Slowly you will grow. And that what you require is that patience and perseverance is needed to go through this process of Gnana. This Gnana Yoga demands that. Whereas today, what we all want is a speedy process. Everything should happen so fast. Today, everything is fast. Instant coffee, instant idli. I don't know how you can make instant idli. And instant noodles, 2 minutes noodles. There are people who say that, no, Maggie, 2 minutes. Try, no, you just put it in 2 minutes and take it out. It's not cooked. You need minimum 5 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes it needs. But he says was in 2 minutes. In 1 week, you can lose your belly fat. All that you have to do is what? Nothing. Just buy this belt and put it on. You can continue to watch TV. Doesn't matter. And what will happen, sir? Belly fat will go. And the fellow says what? Oh, and we will buy that. And fairness cream. If you can do fairness cream, you should sell it in Africa. Everybody will become fair. I don't know why they are selling here. Fairness cream. Now, all that you have to do is what? 1 week. It's not that they say you use that fairness cream for 3.5 years. In 5 years, over a period of time, your skin. No, it's not like that. In 1 week. And that's what they show also. First week, this. Second day, this. Third day, this. Third day, this. Tiny it will become. Same way, toothpaste also. Suddenly, your tooth will become white. Your tooth is not supposed to be white. It is supposed to be light yellow. The fellow says, yellow color means it's black. So what do you have to do? Everything we want, instant. If you want everything instant, same attitude you bring here. That's why people fall for this. And he gives this classic example of meditation. And I'm sure some of you would have even attempted. And some of you may be even thinking, those who attempted will be thinking, sir, if you don't like meditation, don't speak like that. Maybe you don't know. Right? Maybe you don't know my technique. That's also another one they say. Now, maybe you don't know about, our technique is very different. Don't talk about this thing. He says, it will not work. It doesn't work. Why? Why it doesn't work? No, don't worry. We are going to deal with it in more detail in the chapter coming up in meditation. Right now, he's only just giving could attain enlightenment through meditation. They think. What is enlightenment? I am in that state of nirvana. When does he say that? When he says, I am in nirvana, when does he say? After coming out of meditation. Right? Meditator gets into meditation, he comes out of meditation, then he gives a report of what? I was in that state. Exactly the same thing you say, I had a sound sleep. The deep sleep, you all have read that. There are 3 states of consciousness we go through. Waking, dream, deep sleep. The deep sleep, when do you say that I had a sound sleep? The dreamless sleep. After you come out, when you are inside that deep sleep, do you say that I am in deep sleep? Huh? When you are in that state, If you say that I am in deep sleep, are you in deep sleep? You're not in deep sleep. Same rule is applied here also. What is it? If you say that I am meditating, I am entering into nirvana. Now I am in nirvana. If you say that I am in nirvana, I am in that nirvikalpa samadhi, I am in this, whatever you claim, very many words we use. I am in that state of thoughtlessness. If you say that I am in that state of thoughtlessness, are you in the state of thoughtlessness? Some of them will say, this is the problem with your Gnana Yoga fellows. You will confuse everything. You complicate everything. You don't make it simple. You confuse. That's why they don't pursue knowledge. Many. After coming out of that only you claim. I was. Always it is I was. Now tell me, what is the difference between when nature has already given you a chance to be in deep sleep, why do you have to induce that deep sleep in waking state? It's the same thing, no? That meditation, which is thoughtless state, and the deep sleep, which is also thoughtless state, you can't say two thoughtlessness are two different things. Two nothingness cannot be two different things, isn't it? There is no bureau in the room. There is no TV in the room. No bureau, no TV. Are they two different things? Bureau is different. Television is different. Refrigerator is different. But absence of refrigerator, absence of television, absence of bureau, is it the same thing? In absence, they all same, no. In zero, this is nothingness. In nothingness, how can you have any distinction there? Differences there. You cannot have differences there. So what is meditation? Meditation is nothing but bringing that deep sleep state into the waking state. In the waking world, if you experience deep sleep, that is called this one. But the problem is what? Can you know that you are in the deep sleep? You can never know that. Because if you know that you are in the deep sleep state, then instantly you are out of that state. But the person experiences something like that, and he claims that to be enlightenment. And he believes that is enlightenment. And some of them say that's the fastest method. And Gnana Yoga is the slow process. Now you want fast one or you want a slow one? You want an easy one or you want a complicated one? And particularly with these Vedanta fellows, don't go near. Why? They confuse everybody. They also get confused. And they confuse others also. So in that process, he says, it doesn't work that way, please. The cloud of ignorance, because essentially there is a mistake they commit. Because Vedanta says the problem is not the mind, the problem is ignorance. Avidya is the problem. Ignorance is the problem. Mind is just a consequence of that. So essentially you have to get rid of that ignorance. If you say mind is the problem, then solution is what? Stopping the mind, stunning the mind, taking the mind out of equation, which is deep sleep. If mind is the real problem, then deep sleep is a solution. If ignorance is the real problem, then deep sleep is not the solution. Now the question comes is, what is the real problem? What is the real cause? The real cause of this is this. Now that's where he says it's a slow process. Slowly it will grow. Now, the results of your endeavor will show up gradually when he says, what is the meaning of that, sir? He says, no, the results of your endeavor show up gradually. Gradually it will show. Gradually it will show up means what? Slowly 20% of the snake will disappear. And then 30% of the snake will disappear and become a rope. Then 70% of the snake will disappear and only 30. Is that gradual? Now, what is he saying? You see, this is what reflection is. What you do is like this. You say, now, okay, the results will gradually show up. The essential problem is what? The essential problem is I'm assuming the rope to be a snake. If I'm assuming I'm superimposing snake upon the rope means gradually I have to get out. Means gradually the snake has to become rope. Which means what? Gradually this. So 20%, 30% rope will appear. Then this one will appear. Then that will appear. Is that what he means by gradually? What is that? What is the meaning of that? I'm not going to give answers, okay? I just, as I looked on the book, that, sentence came to my mind. Therefore, it just, I saw the sentence. Any sentence you can take like that in the book. You just have to look into it. What is the meaning of that? Can it mean this? If it means this, what's the implication of that? If it means that, what's the implication of this? Now, essentially, the problem is mind or ignorance. Essential problem is the ignorance. Ignorance of the rope is the essential problem. So the solution has to be what? Knowledge of the rope is the solution. Now, the fangs of the snake is not the real problem. But when that boy comes running and telling you, oh, there's a snake, you'll say what? Stay away from it. You don't tell the child, that snake is only a rope and all that. If you say, the child will say, you don't know anything. You see, I saw it, will say. Then it will become a fight. Therefore, that guru says what? Yeah. Exactly like that. These masters also, they say mind is the problem. But that's only at the initial stages, preparatory stage. Once you come to, that's the difference I said initially, that qualification period. Once you become, then what is it, sir? Ignorance is the problem. He is going to be finding an answer to those questions, for which the effect will come very, very slow. It will not come instant. And that's what he gives. What will be the effect of that? The effect of that will be your life becomes a disciplined way of living. There is more power in the disciplined way of living than the most men in their assumed state of meditation. They'll go through very many experiences and they will talk with such mystic languages. It looks so fascinating to listen, to read. I was sitting there, suddenly I disappeared and I appeared there, and somebody appeared and he was touching me and he was telling me this, I heard that, I saw this. Now, nothing of that will be happening when you are listening and reflecting. You think on the scriptures, this, things, you will never find any one of those things. You will not get all that. Then, which is a better one, sir? He says there is more power and potency in your life of discipline. A disciplined way of life. A disciplined way of life is what? Jay, you have the capacity to be entertained within yourself. that introversion, looking within. That's it. Nothing else beyond that. Everything is resolved in just looking within. But the problem is what? The mind, your ego, what you keep doing is this. You go on looking outside because outside is so engaging and entertaining. That's why you keep on reading newspaper. And in newspaper also what you read, oh, this person is sent to jail. I remember a few years back, the big person, he was put into jail. And the person has lived a life of over about 45, 50 years of luxury. 50 years of luxury they live, and suddenly put them in jail. They have to sleep on the hard bed. There's no spring bed. There's no mattress they are going to be given. They are given a hard bed. That's about it. How you will sleep? The room had a particular temperature, AC. Now there's no AC and all that. Now it is not there. As we are reading, this other person with me, I said, Pava sir. It's so sad, no? Immediately this fellow shut up. Sir, such a corrupt fellow. They deserve it. They deserve to be. I'm not saying you should not. I'm not saying, you got to put them in, in a 5-star hotel room for, 7 years, imprisonment. Where in a 5-star hotel. I'm not saying that. It's just, the thought. It's very, very interesting to see. First thought that strikes your mind is what? What comes to you first? The first thought comes is, Allah Venu. Deserved it. The punishment is well deserved by that person. And so interesting, why do you get such a kick out of it? Why you are getting a kick out of it? That doesn't mean I'm saying you should not punish them, you should not do. That's a different thing, you see. That's all social. I'm not discussing social, remember. This class is philosophy class. We are not discussing, sociology here. The subject is different. Sociology is different. Philosophy is different. They are two different subjects. In a philosophy class, we discuss the whole thing from a different angle. Yeah. Why you are getting that thought? Why do you feel such a joy when? Why? It's like a child, One child gets one new geometry box. You see, the geometry box you get. And in that geometry box, there is a scale. That scale had a twisting things, 3D. I don't know, you remember. Those days that was such a huge thing. Today, I don't know. If today's kids don't get any kick out of it. The 3D, used to get. You keep one way, you get one picture. Keep another way, another picture will come. And that fellow brought that scale. And he was not showing that to anyone. He says, hey, hurrah, that's mine. I will not give, I will not share. Such a show that fellow is showing. By afternoon, in some thing, that scale broke. You see, appa, what a kick. And I still remember that fellow, he was crying. The first thought came to me was, Allah Varunda, he said, you didn't want to show kamchalla, he said. You are showing off, no, so much. You? I said, what thought is that? Why you get that thought? Because I wanted to have that scale for myself. I wanted to possess it, which I couldn't. But he is having it. And now he lost it. We have become equal now. You see, this is the thought. This is what all these thoughts are. Everything that we talk about, that new pen that fellow brings that is breaking. I have a great value for something, but I could never possess it. When I experience that, when I see someone having it and losing it, I say, that's well deserved. And I think what? I am a very moral person. I'm a very ethical person. See, that's a law of karma, sir. People say, that's karma, sir. And he talks philosophy. He says, that's not philosophy. That's not law of karma, please. What is that law of karma? Law of karma is operating in you, not in that person. It is operating inside you. What is the thought you are entertaining? This is what mind goes on. It's what your ego, this is what you're going on doing. Awareness, he says. That's what it brings you, that awareness. Awareness of what? Awareness of your thought process. What is that your thoughts are moving? And what is that every thought implies? You see, don't keep laughing during daytime. Grandmas used to say, in the night you will cry. So what you have to do in the daytime also? Don't laugh. What is this? Why we are doing it, sir? Because the mind cannot keep quiet. It will go on creating the thoughts, that enhancing that alertness to recognize the thought movement. That is the gradual growth. Gradually you become more and more conscious of what is the thought that you are entertaining and what is the thought entertainment implies. Implication is what? Now, suddenly today, all of us have become so, conscious of environment. Suddenly in the last about, 15, 20 years, I see everybody has become so conscious of environment. I remember one day, we are going in the train. The train, when we are going, I when I travel in the train, I don't take anything. I just carry 2-3 fruits. Best is banana. Have a banana, drink water, and leave it. That's it. Don't eat anything. Safe, that is. I had that banana and I threw the peel. A fellow in front of me, sir, you are dirtying. I said, sir, it is decomposable. You just throw that, what is going to happen? Within 2 days, it will disappear. And in fact, it will become value addition. Now, suddenly we become so conscious of, environment. How dare you are exploiting the natural resources. Why? Why we have become so conscious of environment now? Ocean is becoming more and more dirty. Why? Because fish industry is getting affected. If fish industry gets affected, we get affected. Why? I don't get my fish. There is no tree problems. We have to plant more trees. I'm not saying you should not plant, please. Okay. I'm only asking you to think in terms of what is the implication of it. Implication is economics. Environmental protection is not for environmental protection. Environment should be protected. The nature needs to be preserved. Not for economics. Today, We are talking about it because it has started affecting the economics. What will happen? Petrol price will go so high, which we can't afford. Therefore, what to do, sir? Preserve it. Therefore, that has to be preserved. Now, what is it, sir? Rain is not coming, water shortage, there is a problem. All these problems are there. Therefore, protect the trees. Everything is getting connected. So, essentially, you are interested in what? Are you interested in that? You are interested in that only because it is pinching in your purse. So long as it is not pinching on my purse, so long as it is not going to be affecting my life, I don't care. Suddenly we have become so, conscious of it. Not because nature is so sacred. In our country, they also had this thought. Cutting one tree is equated to killing 4 Brahmin. They say, 4, you are killing Einstein, you are killing Ramanujam, you are killing Vishwesvaraya, you are killing Abdul Kalam. Keep all these 4 fellows next to each other and shoot them. That is what you are doing in cutting one tree. Therefore, what is a tree? Tree is so sacred. This nature is so sacred. Therefore, we have to preserve it. What is this thought? Vis-a-vis, see, both the fellows will put in effort to preserve. See, first fellow also will put in effort to preserve. Second fellow also will put in effort to preserve. But their efforts, their thinking, their thought process is not same. They are totally different. The first fellow is doing it for what, sir? It is pinching on his life. It is troubling him. So long as it is not troubling him, we will not have any problem. Imagine that we were to find an alternative for petrol. Cheaper one. As good as petrol, let's say. Imagine that one fellow identifies a technology with ocean water. We can run our cars. After that, will we talk about fossils? Are we going to be talking about those things? After that, we will not worry about it. Why? Because we have got our alternative. After that, not for. So essentially, the value is not there. Essentially, the value is for what? My economics, my well-being, my pleasure, my pleasures, my economics, my well-being. So long as these 3 things are not affected, I don't mind exploiting to any extent. The moment it starts pinching here, then I am revolt. I resist it. Is that? I'm not saying all these environmentalists doing it only for this place. Okay. I'm only saying there are 2 thinking possibilities. Now, in these 2 thinking possibilities, you can't say both the fellows are same. There are 2 different levels of thinking. Now, you got to identify which is more refined. Is the first one more refined or the second one more refined? Who has a fine thought process? Whose thinking is subtle? The subtlety goes far more here. The subtlety is not the same. The problem is this for all of us, where we cannot recognize these things. So the entire development of your understanding, your intellect here means your alertness and your awareness. You become so alert of your thoughts. Your thoughts in the sense, through the thought, what is your implied thinking? Not just the thought. That awareness most of us have got most of the time. It's not that you don't even know what you are getting a thought. right? That's not a problem. That is only, a few moments when you are watching TV, when you are, sleeping, when you are doing this, that is there. But more or less, you are conscious of your thoughts. It's not that you are not conscious of your thoughts, please. You are conscious. But the problem is, are you conscious of what that thought means? What's the implication through the thought process? See, you do bad, you will suffer. Implication is what? When you see someone suffering, what is the first thought you are getting? Hmm? He deserved it. You see, that's why you see these people when you read, this man who is so powerful, when they get dismissed, they say, I remember in Oval, you are watching the cricket match. I was sitting in one, that corporate box. Next to that box, this fellow came. The moment this guy came, India, England match, one day match was going on. The moment this man, appeared, all the fans, in the stadium started shouting his name. Go back, go back. You are a cheat. You are a this. You are this. Abusing, making fun of that man. Such a solid celebrity he was. All these people laughing, and could clearly see the body language of the, the Bud Butler, who is taking, the drinks, the serving to these people. He's asking, he's bringing. The way he walks and gives to him, and he comes, turns his back and faces the other side. And he makes faces. Unbelievable. We think that, a fellow doesn't know it. He knows. This butler is bringing, he is giving, but he's turning the other side, he's making faces. All that he knows. How he will go through that internally is amazing, I'm not saying that doesn't mean, that should be allowed. I'm not saying that, please. That's what I told you, the difference between social, legal course or whatever is to be done. That is a different thing. I'm saying internally to see. Now, when all these people are shouting, they all taking the stand of what? They all believe themselves to be more ethical, moral. They are far more right than that fellow. They take that stand. Amazing to see that. It's like a robot, in this Mahabharata, after this Mahabharata war, Bhima hits this fellow, black and blue, and he's just lying on the floor, incapacitated to even move his limbs, Duryodhana. And Bhima comes and kicks, his head with his legs, He goes and put his foot on Duryodhana's head and crushes. And that's the time Duryodhana makes a fascinating statement. Of course, Yudhishthira comes and says, don't do all that. It's wrong to do it. Because he is a crowned fellow. You should not do that. It's insult. But Duryodhana gives a fantastic reply. Forget it, man. In another 2 hours' time, your crows are going to come and sit. They are also going to pick me. These crows will come and pick me. And now Bhima picking. What's a big deal? It doesn't make a difference. And there, he sees Krishna and he accuses Krishna. He says, Krishna, you were telling me of I had been unrighteous. How did you win this war? Through unrighteous means only, no. Which means, if I am unrighteous, you are as unrighteous as me. We are saying, man, in what way you are better than me. And the beauty is, that's the beauty of these classical texts. Best part of this is not so much. The best part comes only now. At that time, two things happen. One, the flowers were showered on Duryodhana. When? When he is accusing Krishna of adharmic, deceitful. If I have been so deceitful, you are also being so deceitful. And he was from the heavens. In the heavens, he was, showering, flowers on Duryodhana. One side. Other side, Krishna is standing there quietly putting his head down. Krishna puts his head down and keeps quiet. With his intelligence, it would have been very easy for Krishna to defend himself. Not a problem at all. You see. But that's not what he does. He just keeps quiet. He just puts his head down. Beautiful scene. Now, moral people cannot accept Krishna. Moralist cannot accept Krishna as God. Of course, all these emotional people will say Krishna is God. He can do this, he can do that. All that. That's all emotional people. That moralists will never agree with what Krishna did. He is wrong. And the best part is Krishna acknowledges that. And he is quiet. His quiet means he is saying, agree, yeah, correct, you're right, Duryodhana is what he says. Now, what is Krishna then? That's what Vedanta says. That is what disciplined life means. A disciplined life is far more powerful. He says, Krishna's life is far more powerful than anything that you could have mystically experienced. Far superior. What is that superior there? What is the implication there? In that acknowledgement, in that quietude, in that acceptance, Krishna shows how whole he is, how perfect he is. His perfection is proved there. Krishna proves his wholeness, his perfection. In that quietude, that's the power of this knowledge, he says. Then this assumed state of meditation is just an example, remember. It just gives one example. There are so many things, people go through in the process of spiritual enlightenment, spiritual experiences. All that is fleeting, impermanent, all inferior. The highest one is to have this, he says, this power in your disciplined life. What is a disciplined life? Discipline is to be aware, to be alert about what your thoughts are. Not cessation of thoughts, not arresting thoughts, not eliminating. It is not that. It is that alertness of it. Now, the moment you become alert, the thoughts automatically quieten. That is a different experience. But your effort is not to quieten the thoughts. If your effort, because who will quieten the thoughts? When will you put an effort to quieten the thoughts? Only when you believe it is the thoughts that is the problem. If you say thought is a problem, then you have to quieten the thoughts. There's no other option. Here it says the problem is not the thought, it's not the mind. It's not that. The ignorance of the self is the problem. Therefore, the whole effort takes a different dimension, different direction. That effort, after understanding all this, is called Gnana Yoga. Now, when you have that direction, then how that Gnana Yogi or that Jnani will function is what he is giving next. Test of your Jnana. Like he gave the test of Bhakti, he gives the test of Jnanam also. Right? We'll see that in the next class. Thank you. That is just a